Listen, ticket talking.
Hello, welcome to Podnas. This is a sports show with a southern flair. I have a broke voice, but my name is Daniel Hawks. That's Jarrett Roser. And today we are going to, unfortunately, talk about the Saints game that happened last night. We're going to go over the LSU Arkansas game and do our Podnas Pick 7. And we're announcing the top play of the week. Jared, how you doing?
I feel like I'm doing better than you are, man.
Oh, it was so much better, and my voice is killing me today.
Is it just the voice that's broke, or how are you spiritually and financially?
So, Saints play the Broncos last night.
Anyway, yeah, speaking of spiritually broken, I saw none of the Saints. Big shout out to Northwest and Church Point High Schools for giving me someplace to be on a Thursday night and not have to watch a snap of that apparent atrocity. So I'm going to just let you cook largely.
It was terrible. Another cornerback got carted off the field. We don't have a roster. It's a lot of fun. I feel like giving up, and I feel like the Saints team feels like giving up too.
Guess what, buddy? I'm right there with you. You were pretty pessimistic a couple days ago, and I said the Saints needed to win on Thursday. They not only did not win, it was clearly ugly in about every facet of the game.
Yeah.
And so I'm out. My stocks are gone.
Bo Nix almost ran for 100 yards. That's how the night went.
You were watching like a flashback. Was it a high school game that he almost ran for 100 yards in?
No,
this was an
NFL
game.
NFL game. An NFL
against
game.
A defense that we thought was like pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, but it's hard to have a defense that's any good when you're going on like the reserves, like as soon as you step on the field.
Yeah, sure.
I know that I was super pessimistic, but like I just think there needs to be major change. And if we're going to tank for like a Travis Hunter, then why not, start? We're already doing a great job. So, and by we, I totally mean me. That's how much I feel for them. They suck as much as I suck right now is what.
Yeah, I was about to say, you seem like you're in tanking mode right now. So.
Oh, wow. Ouch, man.
Is there any chance Keanu Reeves and Orlando Jones are available? Would that help? I don't think either one of them can play corner, but
Bo Nix rushed for 7.5 yards a carry.
Well, that's fine. I'm sure the Saints were really tearing it up on the ground. Alvin Kamara 7 for 10. Okay.
No.
So, yeah.
The lone, I can't even call it a bright spot because he only rushed for 36 yards. But Kendre Miller's back.
He's back. The only thing that I saw of last night, other than the fact that the Saints were down 16-3 at halftime and obviously go on to lose 33-10, was the rapid fire of tweets of whatever hole was opened up for somebody running the ball for Denver, where I saw, just as one example, Jeff Duncan, colleague, former coworker over there at NOLA.com, great columnist down in New Orleans, tweeted, that hole was wider than the Mississippi, which, I mean, first of all, pause. But secondly, how absurd were the running lanes for the Broncos last night that I'm seeing
they
those
could
type
do whatever
of
they
wanted.
wanted. They could do whatever they wanted, and because they also knew like the Saints couldn't do anything on offense. It's a broken offense. It's a broken team. It feels like a broken team. All right. It feels like a broken team. Sometimes that happens, can't win them all or any of them.
What a difference a month makes, man. People were talking about this team as a Super Bowl contender 2 weeks in. And I was starting to buy that hype. It looked so real 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
And look, injuries have obviously been a big part of this. And that's tough and that sucks. And hopefully guys are able to get healthy, speedy and full recoveries and all those things. But man, it's been an ugly 5 weeks.
I know. And going into the game, you find out that Rashid Shaheed's season's over. Olave, it was a short week, so he wasn't coming back off the concussion. They're rolling out practice squatters to play NFL games. And even as
you said practice squatters or squatters, like people that come and just hold their
Both.
ground at practice, they get
Both.
pulled in. Okay.
Both. It's honestly both. So I don't have much more to say about it, but my pessimism was correct. That's pretty much it.
So I guess let's just close the Saints portion here and then talk about some brighter spots at the college level and obviously when we get to the high school play
Yeah,
of the week.
absolutely.
What is your updated here's the record that I think the Saints are going to end up with, or even the ceiling of what you hope they could end up with at this point? Although for
How
you, it
many
sounds like the ceiling may be how low it's like a game of golf
Yeah,
now to try and get the high pick.
I mean, they have to play Carolina once more, so I feel like they'll get one more win. There we go. What is that?
That would
3
be
and
14.
yeah, 3 and 14. I think that sounds good. Let me just pull this
Yeah.
up real quick. Let me look at what the yeah, I don't see him beating the Chargers. I don't see him beating they play the Panthers and the Browns. I think they can win both of those games. Maybe.
Yeah, the
If Derek Carr is back
Browns
by the
pretty
Browns game.
terrible.
Yeah. I don't see him beating this Giants team. I don't even see him beating the Raiders. I don't. I mean, obviously, Commanders, that's just out of the door with how they're playing.
Yeah, I
But
mean, if you're worried about is Bo Nix going for a buck on the ground, Jaden might run for 500.
yeah, listen, basically, it is almost getting to the point of like whatever quarterback is, if you play fantasy, whatever quarterback it feels like is going to play the Saints defense, um, the or whatever running back is going to play the Cowboys defense is just like a lock and load. Especially if the quarterback has any kind of running potential at all. Because like like we've said, the holes were just open, you know.
Again,
Um,
pause.
hey, okay, so we are gonna move on. I think that's it. Unless you have anything else you'd like to say, but like it's gonna be a sad state of affairs. We're gonna be the pessimistic podcast. Love the some alliteration, but yeah, I don't see this season going well, and I know we don't like to call for people's jobs, but like I don't see Dennis Allen being the coach after this season. I don't know if they'll fire him in season. I don't think there's any point, but I just feel like there needs to be like a seismic shift in what the Saints are doing and what like their kind of path is. So
Yeah, I agree with all that. How many weeks out? I made the replacements joke. How many weeks out are we from talking about which fictional Hollywood coach we would want to take over the
oh, Ted
Saints?
Lasso. I mean,
Oh,
clearly
so
they need
no question. Okay.
no. I mean, they need a bright spot, and I feel like that's all that Teddy can bring. So
Yeah. Well, that that makes a lot of sense.
yeah. They do not need another John Voight from Varsity Blues. He's not the coach that they need. They need a little dance, you know.
I'm not going to do that, but
I appreciate it. Yeah.
we can go on.
All right. Let's start talking about these college games because there is an amazing slate this weekend. We're going to do our Podnas pick 7. I think that works, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. First off, let's go into this LSU at Arkansas, 6 p.m. on ESPN. Um, you take it. I've just talked a lot,
Yeah.
and my voice is not there, so I need your help a little bit.
This
Um,
is this is where you pass and send me off into ISO mode.
yeah. Let's do it. I'll let you James Harden for a little bit. Go ahead.
Don't do that to me. Essentially, we talked a lot a couple days ago about the fact that LSU has this huge win against Ole Miss in a variety of reasons. I mean, the significance of it on the season, the emotional dynamics of the big comeback and whatnot. And so now the big question becomes this week: how does this young-ish team, and I say that just meaning it's a college team of, I mean, late teenagers, early 20s guys, how do they handle that success and do they build upon it effectively, or do we see a little bit of a letdown in the wake of all those things? That's kind of the nature of college and high school athletics, is how you handle some of these moments. And we've talked about before, I have a lot of trust and optimism in this team that while a college team is a relatively veteran team, and I have a lot of confidence in the bulk of the leadership of that program to handle situations well, to show focus, and they've shown better and better focus as the season has gone on. And so I think they will be fairly well prepared. Brian Kelly on Thursday night said it was not a great day of practice, which is a little bit concerning, but I think those guys are going to go up to Arkansas and be ready, and then we'll see how some things go matchup wise. But I have confidence they're going to go up there, and I mean, we'll get to the picks in a second, but I have confidence they'll go up there and take care of business. It's going to be a different matchup. You're not going to have to deal with as consistent of explosive threats downfield as Ole Miss presents, but some of the ability with that read option run game that Arkansas poses with, guys that can burn you on the ground at both the quarterback and running back position will kind of test, to me, the LSU defensive tackles, and then B, just truly how disciplined and in position that whole defense is. They were really pleased with that last week, and now they get tested in a different kind of flavor this week. But I like them to build off of that Ole Miss game and do it well.
And also Arkansas is coming off of a top 10 victory. So just beating Tennessee. I wonder.
Well, look, a top 10 victory and then a bye, which is the thing that concerns
Yeah.
me. So they got the emotional high, but then they got a rest in between.
Yeah. Yeah. So this team is going to come in with confidence, and like you said, stopping that rushing attack, because just looking here, Taylon Green has 81 carries compared to Jaquindon Jackson's 99 on the year. So they are both going to run. You have to be prepared for it. The LSU linebacking core has played so well, or progressed, especially through this season. And it's going to be kind of on them to dictate and kind of control that moving forward in this game. I think that they're going to do it because I'm a homer, and that's what I'm going to pick. LSU is a 2.5-point favorite. Field goal, basically, it's a home game for Arkansas, so they're going to get it's basically an even split, is what Vegas is telling us. Which LSU did take that game last week at Ole Miss, but it wasn't necessarily pretty, and it wasn't necessarily a complete game. They really had to fight for it. Hopefully that they can come out and kind of, I guess, make their mark, is what I want to say. Brain not here today, but they really, really, they want to get out there and show exactly what they want to do and how they're going to control the tempo of the game. And I think they can do that. If they can't, it might be a really, really long day for this LSU defense. If they just thought that maybe one good defensive performance is gonna make their mark for the season.
Yeah, this Arkansas team is capable of hitting a shot here and there. They're certainly capable of an explosive play in the run game, and that's where it worries me more is, are we going to see some instances like we talked about after a couple of previous games? I know the Nichols one stands out just because it was Guggenheim, so a kid that I know, but plays where guys are not in their right in the run defense, and suddenly you're looking at somebody running a long way. That's what worries me more about this Arkansas team. But more than really the explosive plays in either regard, Arkansas is going to try and grind some things out, stay ahead of the chains, pick up enough on first down to get themselves in a good position to convert at a high rate on third down. And so I think that it's really important to throw that schedule off if you're LSU's defense, and to have Arkansas on some third and longs. And I think we're going to see that, not all the time, but I think you're going to see LSU succeed at that enough to come out with a win. And you mentioned the field goal dynamic. The last 4 of these games have been decided by exactly 3 points, which is absurd.
And if LSU can get up, maybe get a couple quick scores, it bodes very well. Yeah. The passing game is not very dynamic at Arkansas. They are focused on that run. And if you can get I'm blanking on his name, the quarterback, if you can get him to start throwing, Taylor Green, if you can get him to start throwing, he's very inconsistent. I think he's got 6 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, so doesn't like to throw it a lot. So that would be if that would be best case scenario. Get a couple scores on the board. Have Arkansas playing from behind. If they are playing from behind, that bodes well for LSU, obviously, because they'd be up in the
Yeah.
scoreboard. But I'm not as worried about Arkansas mounting this big comeback if as I would with like Old Miss. If LSU would have been up 2-3 scores on Old Miss, I still would have been like Old Miss has a shot to get back in this and get back in it quickly. I don't necessarily think that with this Arkansas team.
Yeah, because I mean, the key word you said there is inconsistent. They're capable of hitting some shots,
Yeah,
but to try and start mounting a comeback based on the passing game is so far from their comfort zone that you have to feel good about where your odds are if you're LSU and you can be up 10 or 14 points early-ish in that game. So I agree with that for sure.
hope I hope so. Let's go.
I like that it's a night game too, because some of these
Yeah.
Arkansas games have been 11 a.m. or 2:30, and so LSU is kind of sleepwalking through the start of it. And I feel a little bit better with it being an evening game, and I think that LSU wins this game and that they finally win it by more than a field goal for the first time since Joe Burrow was quarterbacking the team. But I still don't think they're gonna run away with it. I think maybe they win by 4 or 7, something like that. But we'll see.
Hey, that's still covering. All right. We love to see it. I'm also going with LSU there. Let's move on. We have UL at Coastal Carolina, 11 a.m. on ESPNU. Cajuns look to extend their hot streak. They're on fire. They're raging.
Yes, yes, they are. It's been really a phenomenal year. I was talking to another reporter about this last night out in the Lafayette area. The FBS schools in Louisiana, you look at the seasons that Tulane, the Cajuns, and ULM are all having right now, where you're suddenly having to look at 3 of the 4 G5 or G6 teams in Louisiana are among the top teams on a national scale. And so that's been an awful lot of fun. There's a lot of reasons to be confident now after watching some of these recent road trips the Cajuns have gone on that they can go ahead and do the same sort of thing up on that teal field up there at Coastal. But this also is exactly the type of game that historically has concerned me for any of those programs to go and let one slip away. And so we'll see exactly where this team is right now and, just how they handle success, similarly to what we were talking about with LSU. I know this is a team that Coach Des and company had a lot of confidence in their kind of business-like approach. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick the Cajuns to hold true to that and go and get a win. But it's definitely one that I'm a little bit nervous about going into Saturday.
Yeah, they've been playing. I feel like they've been playing so well that everyone is just like expecting like the fall, the fall off.
Well, look,
Um,
we spent 8 minutes or more talking about how completely broken by the Saints we are, and so we're
yeah,
just not expecting good things right now.
yeah. I mean, we already made our stamp as the pessimistic pod. All right, we've got it. All right, so why not keep that going?
Which is funny because I feel like we're very much not.
I know, neither one of us. But listen, I can't go against the home team. I especially riding this win streak right now, 1-3 in a row. After again, another team that's doing really well. They put up such a good fight with Tulane. That's their only loss. Um, I think UL keeps it going. I think, like you said, that business like approach that the coaches have those kids like in that mindset. I think it carries over.
Yep. So we're on board with that.
Let's go. All right. Alcorn State at Southern, 6 p.m. on ESPN Plus. Um, I know not of what I speak. So, Jarrett, can you help me out a little bit? What's going on with this game? What are some of the highlights, lowlights, things we need to know?
This is a game that I mean is a pretty classic old SWAC rivalry that these teams are going to be excited or excited. Excited might not be the right word. There might be a little bit of distaste for each of them to see each other, but the home teams have won these games in recent years, and I'm hoping that as we talk about LSU and the Cajuns building off of success, handling success well, that Southern coming back late last week and winning in overtime and all the positive feels and being able to be at home this week on top of it, that it's enough for them to edge out the Braves in what feels like a pretty pivotal game in those SWAC standings. Those two teams are right there in the thick of things. Have a chance to play for a lot in that conference, and I think this is a really good opportunity for Southern to get the upper hand right now.
Okay, all right. I am gonna go Alcorn State here. We're gonna switch on this. The only reason I'm doing this is I'm looking at the last two overtime games that Southern's played. They've come out and it seems been pretty flat versus Jackson State and versus Nichols. So I like trends. I'm a trendy guy, and I'm gonna stick with that trend. That's what I'm gonna do.
And plus, you need to pick differently from me enough to try and play some catch up in our standings.
That's actually why, like, the main reason. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Well, I'm hoping that Southern comes out, takes care of business, and takes the lead in that Western Division.
I would be happy to be wrong.
We'll see.
So yeah,
this is going to be a battle, I think.
All right. So we're first split right there. Next up, we have Auburn at Mizzou, 11 a.m. on ESPN. Auburn always shows some versus every single team that I feel like they played. It feels like Auburn is a pesky out right now.
Yeah.
Not necessarily pulling through every week, but like they are a really pesky out. I think this Mizzou team is struggling a little bit with what their identity is. Their offense is not as good as it was last year. And I think they're trying to be. They're just not there. So I'm going to go with Auburn on the upset right here.
I'll take Mizzou. I'll open the door for, a chance for you to steal another game in the win column. I just think Mizzou is a better team. I agree with everything you're saying about the peskiness of that Auburn team, and Mizzou kind of, took a little shock to the system in that A&M game and is trying to shake back from that. I'm going to go ahead and trust that the Tigers do find a way to do it and get back into the mix of, being on the right track in general, getting some positive momentum going in the back half of the season as they try to fight their way into, maybe backdooring into a playoff spot by the end of it. I'm not picking them to do so necessarily, but I think they're going to
Are they on either one of our pick'ems?
I am pretty sure they are. I think you have them actually.
Oh, okay. Well, I really should have picked them to win then.
Because I think part of my thought process, I know part of my thought process on taking Tennessee late was that you had stacked up on every non-Georgia SEC team except for Tennessee, and so I figured I'd steal another one. And I think Mizzou was in that thick where you went like 4 SEC teams in a row.
All right. Hey, listen. Maybe I hope I'm wrong, but I need to play catch up. So I'm throwing out some upsets just because your boy needs it. All right. Next up, we've got McNeese at Incarnate Word.
Did you say Ward? Did you say
Ward? I didn't even. What is this school?
Incarnate Word out in San Antonio? Yeah, it's I have actually. Okay.
Do they study the Alamo? What do they do? I don't know what they do there. Okay. Do they learn things? Who named that school? That's an awful name for a school. That's really terrible. I hate it.
Why is it an awful name for a school?
It's a terrible name for a school.
Also,
Incarnate
Word. You are a young Catholic guy.
I'm not Catholic. I'm Protestant, and whatever. I'm not even that much. All right. I'm not part of the Young Men's Christian Association, okay?
They kicked you out?
Yeah, I couldn't do the dance right, so they were done.
I want to go back to your confusion of what they do in terms of studying, and do they just study the Alamo? Do you think that schools are only allowed to study what's in the town that they're based?
Yep.
What was your education?
It was general studies. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Actually, communication studies. Because unlike you, I didn't want to study enough to get into that.
The manship school.
The manship school. I went to like one thing and I was like, "What GPA do you need?" No, I'm okay. Thank you.
The manship school where I actually met a girl that I dated who had started her college career at Incarnate Word before transferring back to Louisiana to go to Louisiana State University. So I can
See,
assure you it's a real
she
school.
she didn't even want to be there. All right.
Yeah, well there were better guys back here, you know.
Yeah, I got you. I see you.
Prob, prob Probably not, but
Not you, but I see you. I like
yeah,
speak
there
your
are
truth, dude.
guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Just on the fact that uh I've poo-pooed on them so much, I tried not to curse here because I guess I don't want to put more money into the curse jar. I am picking McNeese, and I have no reason to do so. I have no viable reason except that I don't like the name of this school.
Sure. This is, I mean, a game, again, interesting game in terms of the standings in the Southland Conference. McNeese overall is 4-3 now. Incarnate Words 4-2. Both those teams kind of, in the midst of things, just a loss so far each in terms of, a loss for McNeese, 1-0 record right now in conference for Incarnate Word. And so early on in conference, they're both very much still in the mix. I kind of feel like quietly McNeese ended up winning 3 straight games recently until a loss last week. And so they got some positive things going after what I thought was kind of a tough start to the season overall. All that said, I do think Incarnate Word has kind of established itself as consistently one of the top contenders in the Southland this year. And I think that this is a game that out there in San Antonio, where the Alamo is, that the Incarnate
You
Word.
remembered it. Oh, that's all they want you to do.
Yeah. I think Incarnate Word's probably gonna come away with the win in this one.
Okay, I'm just putting them as IW because this is school names are weird. What are we doing? Oh, like why would you name your school that? I don't it makes no sense to me. It doesn't sound like a college, it sounds like a prison.
I just don't understand what school. All right, so what schools did you go to before U High?
Formerly I went to St.
Well,
Michael's.
well, Bishop Sullivan. What was that? You were there all the way up to?
No, and then before that I was at Sacred Heart.
Yeah, Sacred Heart,
Okay.
Immaculate or Incarnate Word, Immaculate Heart. Like all these things are very like common phrases.
No, okay, Incarnate War, what is it? Ward?
You're just
Say it.
having trouble with the word, Incarnate Word.
It's not it. Oh, it is word. Never mind. I wrote it wrong. I thought it was Ward. I still don't like it.
I
Word should not be a word in your university's name. I don't like it. I can't vote for it. It's not. Listen, I don't understand it, and I will not respond to it. Okay. So I'm picking McNeese just off my laurels. Okay. That's it. And I love how this is going to be the biggest piece of this whole thing. This is the most breakdown that we've done is just
Yeah,
the
it's just
incarnate word.
you struggling with the fact that the university is named a very normal thing to be named. I feel like
Okay. It's not a normal thing. Let's throw
not.
that out. Okay.
It's
Incarnate
not.
is not,
It's not a common name for a university, but in terms of a phrase for a religious based school, it is not at all. There are schools named Incarnate Word.
I don't like any of them. All right, next up, we've got Bama at Tennessee, 2:30 game on ABC. This is a big one. Tennessee's looking to kind of bounce back. Bama is looking to show that maybe they aren't kind of a peg down from where they usually are. Both these teams really need this win. I think I'm going to go with just the experience of Jalen Milroe over Amaliava. I think that's going to be the X factor here. And well, I think this game, when we were looking at this, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, this looks like two heavy hitters. It looks a little bit more like two heavy hitters at the end of their career that are struggling to find like one more step. And both these teams are the powerhouses. They are gigantic programs that haven't looked. Bama, especially looking at this, have not looked the past 2 weeks. Bama has not looked like Bama at all. They have looked very vulnerable. You can get at them. You can run on Bama, which is a funny thing to just even think about. Like, I don't know if they're as big as the holes in the Saints Broncos game, but like Vandy ran all over Bama. Rocket last week for South Carolina ran all over Bama. Especially if Maliava can move a little bit, if he can get out of the pocket, if he can scramble and confuse that Bama defense a bit, this is going to go back and forth. But I'm going to go with a little bit of the I guess proven commodity of Jalen Milroe, that he's going to lead this team to a W.
This game is so big that we're going to devote almost half as much time to talking about it as we did the whole Incarnate Ward fiasco. Pan. I'm sorry. I am going to go the opposite way. This Bama team losing to they apparently can't go to the state of Tennessee and play. So I don't see why we think they're going to go on the road and win this one. But no, piggybacking off what you said a couple of weeks ago, this looked like a game that we'd be talking about. Okay, which team is establishing themselves as a potential first round bye in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And now we're looking at, can one of them manage to stay in the playoff picture with this win? And so it's gotten really interesting really quickly. We're talking about a Bama team that lost at Vandy, that was fighting for its life against South Carolina, and really in a lot of ways late in that game was fortunate to come out with a W there at home, and now has to head back on the road. I'm going to trust in to Tennessee and the home crowd up there at Neyland, and a team that I feel like I have a little bit more trust, honestly, weirdly as this is to say, in kind of their coaching and being put in position to come out with this win, because it's looked pretty ugly from a schematic standpoint the last couple weeks for Bama as well. So I'll go Vols.
All right. And last game, we've got UGA, University of Georgia, at Texas, 6:30 on ABC. Texas looks like just a cut above everyone else right now. And Georgia, I'm waiting for some Georgia skill players to step up, because it just feels like they are just kind of skating along. And you're not going to be able to do that against Texas. Texas is going to make you pay for that and make you pay for that a lot. So I'm going to go Texas here. I think they're just the best team in the country right now, which really sucks that they just come into the SEC and they're going to be the best team. I don't like it at all.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Just kind of piggybacking again off of the dynamic we mentioned with how quickly some things have developed with our perspective on that Bama and Tennessee game, how quickly our perspective has changed on the Saints and where they are in the season. This Texas game going into this season, I think I looked at, okay, Texas is going to be pretty good, but they're not just going to, just walk into the SEC and win this thing, but they look clearly the best team, not just in the SEC, but probably in the country.
Yeah.
And so it's tough for me to pick against them right now. They're playing better than Georgia and then the rest of the teams on, a national scale. They're playing this game at home. DK Royal is going to be popping for this one. That, there's really often obnoxious Longhorns fans are going to be excited for Georgia to come to town. And so, I've got to go with the Longhorns as well.
All right. Just to recap, we've got LSU, UL, both of us. I've got Alcorn. You've got Southern. I've got Auburn. You've got Mizzou. I've got McNeese. You have the other team. I've got Bama. You've got Tennessee, and we both have Texas. Our Podnas Pick'em is set. It's done. It's right there.
Oh, look at it go.
Look at it.
Imagination.
Yeah. Finally, we are going to announce the high school play of the week. Let's go. Cole Miller, Calvary Baptist.
Mr. Iguana Eyes himself.
Yeah.
The peripheral vision, the vertical.
Yeah.
the one-handed snag, a young man that Ryan Clark once told twice in the same 7-on-7 game, Cole, you're perfect. And his ego has never deflated from that moment. And it's not deflating now because he is the player of the week, the two-time Louisiana versus all y'all special teams player of the week nominee, 0-time winner, but 1-time play of the week nominee and winner, Cole Miller, the senior linebacker, the oldest brother of the 3 Miller brothers on that roster.
Get it.
Goodness.
Get it. We love to see it. Cole, you got 69% of the vote. That was just lovely. All right.
Nice.
We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. All right. That is it for us. Listen, if you would like to submit something for the play of the week, if you see a play this weekend and you're like, damn, that ish needs to be the Podnas play of the week, please send it over to us. Shoot it over to us. If you want to send it to our Instagram, it is Podnas_LA, or you can go to Twitter at LA versus all y'all. Shoot it over to Jarrett. We'll put it up here. You know, we'll see what the people say. I can't guarantee you that you're going to get a win like Mr. Colt Miller from Calvary Baptist, the Iguana Eyes, but I can promise you that we'll look at it. We'll see if it's worthy of being a play of the week nominee. So, Jarrett, do you have anything else before we get the people out of here?
No, man, I'm good. Just looking forward to to another couple days of some football action this weekend. Do you have any more words that you want to bitch about just existing, or are you good?
No, I'm good for right now, but I will have some. So don't even worry about that. I will give my thoughts. It's a stupid name for a school. It's dumb. It's Incarnate Word is a stupid name for a school. Come at me, Texas. Whatever. I won't remember the Alamo. I forgot about it until you just said it right now. Yeah, let's get out of here. Follow us on Instagram, Podnas_LA. Like, comment, share on the video. We want to hear from you. If you like it, share it to your friends. If you hate it, send it to your enemies. Okay, we'll get plays either way. That is all for us. I'm Daniel Hawks. That is Jared Roser. Podnas.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a